But he's about to be brought on. James Cleverley!
What is the purpose of our party? Sorry, I look across this sea of familiar faces and I realise this is such a ridiculously sound room. This is outstanding. There's so much right of centre political horsepower in this room. The shockwaves rippling out, emanating from this room must be causing murmurs and tremors in the stomach of woke lefty people far and wide. And Harry's already done the roll call of Guido, former staffers who have now gone on to great things in media far and wide. And we have to recognise, I think it's legitimate to recognise, that the Guido Fawkes, orderorder.com, is the most successful political breeding ground, now eclipsing Eton by a country mile. And I'm not going to say it's a right-wing political madrassa. Others might, but I'm not going to. Now, Harry's done the comedy turn this evening, and I have been asked to step way outside my comfort zone by being the one who speaks, not in an attempt to either gain laughs or indeed votes, or indeed laughs about votes. I'm actually here to do the serious bit. I'm going to speak from the heart, because Paul perhaps has had, particularly from those people who are not of our political tribe, Paul has had perhaps a reputation for being cynical, for being aggressive politically. And I intend this evening, in the next couple of minutes, only a couple of minutes, to ruin that reputation. Because 2004, 20 years ago, was an auspicious year when it comes to online communication. 2004 was when a blog was launched, back when blogging was a thing, bloggers were a tribe. 2004, blog was started. In January 2004. At this point, Paul's like, I didn't start my blog in January 2004. I did. I started my blog in January 2004. And some people say post hoc ergo propter hoc is a fallacy. I'm not convinced. And I explain why. So, for example, I joined the British Army in 1989. So I joined the British Army in 1989, and then the Berlin Wall came down. Now, I'm not taking full credit for that. I'm just suggesting it's too much of a coincidence to completely ignore. And in January of 2004, I started a blog. And then 8 slow months later, Paul started it. And those two blogs, for what can only be described as days, were neck and neck before one pulled away in terms of reach and influence. But we were part of a tribe. me and Paul. I mean, he didn't know it, never recognised it, refuses to be defined by it, but I knew that we were part of a tribe. We were amongst the coolest people on the planet. We were bloggers. And I have never felt a sense of such belonging since I stopped playing Warhammer. But we were bloggers. As I say, Paul was perhaps more well-known, more influential, more successful than me. Considerably more. And yet, no, this is the serious, this is where you all stop laughing from it. But yet, I found that he displayed a degree of generosity and friendship towards me, completely unnecessarily. He sought, and I can assure you gained, absolutely nothing. He gave advice and he gave it generously. He gave time and gave it generously. There are evenings, and if you ply me with enough drink, maybe, just maybe, I will give you a small indication of some of the things that we got up to. I mean, I won't, but you can ply me with drink. But he didn't need to. He genuinely did not need to. And I'm blessed in what I have done in politics. But none of that could have been known to him or I at the time. And yet, I'm here this evening celebrating 20 years of the Guido Fawkes website because back in the day, back when no one knew who I was or what I could possibly have done in the future, there was someone who spent time and friendship on me. And I'll never forget that, which is why this evening, ladies and gentlemen, having forgotten to bring my glass to the podium, I would like you to amplify my gratitude. I would like you to amplify my gratitude to someone whose cynical, stern, sparky reputation I know is thoroughly unearned. And the reputation that he doesn't have, but the reputation that perhaps he doesn't have and might not necessarily wish to celebrate, I know is true. His reputation for generosity to the people who he worked with and people who he didn't. That is the Paul that I have known over many, many years. And by the way, they still do not let me turn up in Luton, but what can you say?